Tom from SYNTH here from the Superbooth 21. I'm here on the booth of Yuhi. I'm here with Urs. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Fine. It's a lovely event. It's so calm. I think it's compared to Superbooth 19. It's super calm here. And I think
calm.
your tent is also very cozy.
Yes.
You have a private booth, really private.
A tent. It's more a tent, but our tent we have a separate, and we have got a private area there, where we pretend to have meetings, but we really just sit there and relax.
And I can imagine, even for a software company, the days of the lockdowns and so on, it was you had a lot of work, probably. Or how would you manage all this time at home and working on new products and updating and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, everything with Corona, everything went into like slow motion. So people were resetting their work from home. And a few people would still come into the office, but just very rarely. And so we had to relearn our workflows, right? And then you've got all these Zoom meetings, and which are actually quite good because we had some people working externally anyway, and with Zoom and all that, they were now closer to us than before. And and then what we did was we just left everything aside and concentrated on things that that we probably had to do, right? And instead of working on new things, we got rid of our what's called technical debt, right?
Yeah.
So
you did some really impressive updates in the past. I think Triple Cheese, this free synthesizer, it looks gorgeous. If you remember back in the days, it looks a bit cheesy, but it looks quattro formaggi.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Triple Cheese, the original design for Triple Cheese was done by myself, and I was just, I had no time. It was in a rush, and now we have user interface designers, and so it does look much better. And
I think this little free one, Zebra CM, got also a pretty nice update. Yes. And I think the biggest news, especially for Apple users, was the M1 support.
Yes, that kind of stuff. That was certainly the biggest thing, and probably the main reason we did all that. But when we did the port to the new ARM, Neon platform. At that time, we said, well, when we're renovating that, we can also renovate it for Intel, and then make everything faster, make it more modern, and do all the modern stuff we always wanted to do for all plugins. And we succeeded with, I think we have 16 plugins or 16 products, more plugins. Some are bundles, and we succeeded with 12, but 4 are still missing. And here at Superbooth, we're showing a sneak peek of the next one that will be totally refurbished and updated with nice new features and a much better user interface.
We heard so much about M1, Apple claiming it's the best one, it's faster, it's consume less electricity and energy and so on. How was it for you from your side as a developer? Was the implementation hard? Is it something it takes a long...
The question is, how do people program? So when you do music software and you have to optimize stuff, then you work with processor-specific instructions, right? So normally you work in like C or C++ or whatever you do, and then but these languages are then extended with instructions like how to do a very fast square root and how to do 4 multiplications at once, because that's something that the processors can do. And we had pretty much all our products are enhanced with these things, and this had to be redone, right? So what we did was we first redid it so that we had in parallel the code that would work just as C code on any platform, and then we had the Intel optimized code, and then Then we wrote tests that showed that they're both the same results. And then we went to the M1 and we wrote the layer that works then on the ARM with the ARM specific stuff. And then we could compare if the normally or the just plain C code produces the same result. And this way we had like the whole testing. But it was like twice the work that you normally have because we had to do it. We wanted to do it with the step in between, and but that took like 2 or 3 months for one developer, and so it wasn't even. It was like finished after, let's say 3 months, but it took us 8 months to do this update. So there's a lot more work that went into all sorts of things.
And I think your probably most known plugin, the Diva, you always said we need more CPU power or more and more and more, and it always consumed a lot. I know it from even for my i9. Do you think now with the M1 you could reach even more out of this processor with the Diva, or?
Probably, yeah, probably. We haven't really thought much about that lately, but we have, because we dumped, for instance, we dumped support for Core 2 Duo because that's a really old platform, and that's like more than 10 years old. We dropped that, so you need a more modern processor, but that means you also have better specific instructions, and we use these now, and so this makes it faster. Like this got like easily 10-20% gain just by dropping the old platforms. And I expect this process to continue, and we're now thinking about maybe we can write code so that it works on that and on that and on that, and then it could maybe adapt itself over time. So that's something to think about, but haven't done that yet.
I don't want to be now too much Apple focused. Do you think it's how are your expectations? ARM is coming to more and more to Windows as well, or what is your more? Is it?
I personally absolutely don't care. So I'm totally fine with Intel. I'm totally fine with the M1. I like the idea that there is like this big competition now that Intel and what are the other ones? No, the guys with the Ryzen.
HMD.
HMD, yeah. AMD, right. You know that they also now have to cover, like more
chip on chip and.
Yeah, or chip on chip, or just more less power consuming chips, right? That's quite important, and then you can put more in there, and
I think with all this now coming from M1X and very soon, hopefully, I think this entire world of computer are progressing enormous.
Yes.
Even with the M1 now.
Yeah.
Because I see that you have, I had some friends who made tests and they say I could now produce with my MacBook with M1 5 hours and it doesn't drop. It was fine.
It's amazing. It's amazing. On the other hand, people always say, well, you can't upgrade on Apple, right? But usually you can say, well, yeah, still you can upgrade it. But with the M1, no, that's it. This is it. That's it. There's no chance to do anything about it. You can add more RAM or anything. That's just how it is. But that, on the other hand, gives you this amazing performance boost and the CPU, actually electricity, battery life boost. And but there's an interesting thing about that is it's now more difficult to compare to compare the speed of the software because it has like 4 slow cores and 4 fast cores, and sometimes you have your software, you try it, and it has like, let's say it has like 40% CPU, right? So, and then you make it faster, and suddenly it has 70% CPU. That's because first it was running on the fast core, and then you made it faster, so then it could run on the slow core, and suddenly it looks like it's 70. So it's very difficult to say now, or to really estimate how much CPU something uses. Right? It's a funny side effect of that.
And it's probably also something to do with which DAW you are using.
Yeah. Some DAWs in Logic, for instance, I think you can say you only use the fast cores. So that unfortunately it makes Logic look slower than other DAWs which by default use all 8 cores, right? So
And maybe a bit strange question. You see probably also as company, they are coming more. The plugin market is nearly saturated, as I would say. There
look,
tons of stuff is out there.
people have said the plugin market is saturated roughly 2 weeks after the first plugin came out, right? So there's the what was it called, Model E or Model F, and the Neon.
Steinberg, yeah.
How many more synthesizers do we need, right? So people have said that all the time. It has never been true.
But do you think the plugin market goes in new directions, or what needed to bring in more innovation? Because I think the 50th emulation of a Minimoog doesn't we need it really?
Well,
Uh,
somebody should do a proper one. So, no, I mean, I'm currently working on a Minimoog emulation as a side project, and for 1 year I've had a Minimoog that's completely opened with oscilloscope on my desk, sitting next to me. So anytime when I wanted to, I could turn there and do some measurements, because I think that the developers who do these emulations, they actually do an interpretation of what they find important about the sound and what they don't find important. You don't want the noise from the power adapter or something. You don't want that in it, or certain noise products. People would say, oh, this is a bug, right? But for other people, and for me, for instance, it's super important to work on how do the parts interact, right? And this is very difficult to measure, but you can there are telltale signs in the software where you can see, oh, they didn't do that, they didn't do the influence of that on that, right? And I would do a video with all my findings, but the problem is that Diva doesn't do all of that either. So it's like it would be slightly embarrassing. So that's why I thought I make a Minimoog emulation, just as a fun project with all the things that I find important. And even if Diva doesn't have them, but then I already have the code, I can put it into Diva then if I want to.
and so the next step in plugins, if you say better sound or more interfacing, and it becomes more in an intuitive way with less menus and so on. It's more. What is the direction you think?
I have no idea, and I mean, I don't really follow all the latest trends and everything. That's not, I'm not the guy who sits there. Oh, what are the others doing? Let's do that too. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the things that I like, and for me personally, since the first Superbooth, the last 6.5 years, I've been working with modular synthesizers, and I'm learning so much about that. This is a whole new kind of thinking, and we're actually doing a lot of work where we're transferring the knowledge or the concepts of modular into the software. I mean, look at Hive, right? Hive used to be the most simple producer-orientated superstore synth ever, and we added exactly 6 knobs to the user interface and a couple of drop downs, and now it's got so much West Coast style in it, self-playing patches. There are presets which are complete compositions with multiple voices and things going on, and that was based on very simple ideas from the Buchla world of thinking, right? And this is something that interests me a lot, and I see that a lot now. Arturia Pigments has got stuff in. Massive X has lots of West Coast style things inside. And
There's coming a lot of influences from the modular world now. I think, yeah.
the modular world, in my opinion, the modular world is so far ahead of the software world, right? They do completely different things, completely new concepts that in software sometimes also don't make sense. but that are also not really available in software because it's also about the hands-on approach, right? And really, a tablet touch stuff just doesn't work because you have to look at it. You can't feel it.
So we can still not. I ask everywhere the same question to you. So iOS is still not on the plan.
Oh, well, we could. No, we can.
I think it becomes easier because with Apple,
I
with
mean,
Audio Unit version 3, they
yeah.
have M1.
Well, look, all units, right? So when you have all units 3, when you have plugins all units 3, the system automatically does not recognize your audio units version 2 anymore. So then it won't run in certain hosts that don't support audio units v3. So for that we would have to make an app. We actually have this app, but it's not yet out there, where you can dynamically switch between the two. Right, and stuff like that.
So it's mainly an Apple problem. So that they did. Or maybe even that's the reason why so many plugin developers doesn't offer Audio Unit version 3 on Mac.
Probably, I don't know. I mean, the format itself is fairly easy, but it is like Audio Unit version 3 is an app that provides a service to the system. Right, so it's very different from. It's actually not plugins, right? It's services, right? And it's slightly different way of thinking about it. And we haven't done it because we internally have a project, standalone plugins, right? Or standalone version. It's a big project, and we can't release it before we don't have it on Windows as well. And we currently have a shortage of Windows developers. I mean, there's a guy now, so that's good.
And because I really I always read in the comments of our followers, and you hear an iOS, and so I don't.
Well, I mean,
maybe.
Yeah, sure, but the thing is, the last year, much of these improvements, much of our technical depth, is all about different plugin formats, different platforms, different this, different that. So the more platforms and plugin formats we support, the quicker technical depth piles up, and then you have to spend another 8 months just doing that. Okay. Right? So and we had the experience. We did rack extensions that worked very well in the beginning, but then we realized, oh, we can't do that update anymore. Oh shit. And this is when we then just said, look, everybody who's got the rack extensions here, you make you an offer for the VST, and we wanted to get rid of that sidetrack that was actually that we couldn't support anymore, really, right? And for me, iOS is a similar thing, but we are working on something that's hopefully pretty cool, which is like an people use like the Juice framework and stuff like that in order to not have to deal with these kinds of things, and we are working on our own way of not having to deal with that kind of thing anymore. Maybe then iOS is a possibility. I don't know. Yeah,
it's in roadmap.
So
I think
our roadmap is like.
I think I could ask you 10,000 questions, and you still have a list on what is on. I don't ask you now for Zebra 3, but because it's in development probably, and it takes longer.
I mean, the thing about Zebra 3 is the first project we'll start with one maybe mini exception when all of our plugins have done the ARM leap, right? And then we still have technical debt because we don't have AIX on the ARM on Mac on the new Mac platform, because you simply can't do that right now, right? So it takes till early next year, and then we have to update everything again with AIX for Mac, right?
So we're hoping that Zebra 3 is maybe a little teaser next year than Superbooth.
Yeah,
maybe
it's possible. I mean,
a teaser.
We do have a working project that is called Zebra 3, and that has the grid there, and there's oscillators, and then there's resonators, and there's a couple of things in there. But we need to get rid of all of the other stuff first, right? and this whole slowdown with Corona hasn't made that any faster,
And
right?
a completely different topic or a little topic. I saw you're making a lot of music in the past, or you're making more music, or you're publishing some jams. You're
Yeah.
investigating a lot in Modular. Is it
Yeah.
for you something
Well,
completely a different side, or you think more in a way to putting new ideas to
yeah.
plugins? Would you
Well,
say?
yeah. I mean, for me, I make plugins because I suck as a musician, right? So I can't go on stage and play keyboards with a band and hope that it sounds correct. It won't, right? So and when I saw these modular performances like on the first Superbooth, I thought, well, shit, this is a way I could actually play live, right? I don't have to have my weird timing things and remember melodies. It's the sound design itself, the patch itself transcends the composition, right? Or the composition and the sound design is the same thing. And what you do is you change the sound while it plays. It's amazing. And this is for me a way where I can actually perform, and that's what I've been doing a lot. But I actually haven't touched the modular synth for 1.5 years, while we did all the updates and everything. And only 2 weeks ago, it's like, in 2 weeks is Superbooth, and you have a performance there. Oh, maybe we should put something together. Yeah, let's do that. And then
Is it for you? I think you develop now. You have already the second module was
yes.
showing you at Superbooth. Do you create the modules while playing your module? Are you? I think the idea bringing common we start making modules. This happens while you playing in the modular, or is it already before?
No, it's uh, I am in a very very comfortable position. I like small modular synths like 20 modules, and I specifically build them or assemble the modules for a musical purpose. I want to try something like I use envelopes for sequencing, for instance, right? Stuff like that, in or crazy ideas. And then I have a colleague or an assistant who puts that together for me, right? I make it on modular grid. I make a screenshot here, and half an hour later I've got my synth, right? And then I patch it up, and during these experiments, which I sometimes put on video and on YouTube, during these experiments I realized, if there was a module that did that and that and that and that, then I could save all of these cables here, right? And why has nobody done that? Or maybe it is available, then I find it in the shop or something.
So you have a dedicated team now for the modules, or is it? Or
No, this is one of my assistants who usually does all the finance and all of that other stuff.
I mean,
And
yes, for developing the
for
modules.
developing.
Do you have no engineers who are doing this, or how do you manage
Yeah,
or
we
externals?
yeah we have always worked with our friends from Tubutech,
Oh, okay.
right? So they we have meetings. We say, oh, we want that, and then a couple of weeks later, we have that in front of us,
Because I
right?
think it's maybe a big step for a software company, plug-in only, or company to move in hardware. It's
Yeah.
it's a bigger step.
But you see, we have started this 5 years ago, and we are now about to produce our second module. So we're super slow, super conservative, super slow with this, doing baby steps. But now we actually expand our team with a developer who's dedicated to hardware development.
Interesting. So we can. I mean, I remember your idea to taking a Diva to hardware or something like this, but it's extremely big step.
Yeah, that would be like 2 or 3 or 4 steps ahead, right? And yeah,
Baby steps, and then
yeah. You start small, and then you build up on it and see how it goes, and then you improve that. And at some point, I think maybe next year we'll have 3 or 4 modules, right? And then maybe we have a synth. I don't know. It might happen one day. Maybe we have 03 at some point. Hey, that would be awesome.
Urs is full of inspiration, full of new ideas.
Yeah, we used the slogan "Turn on inspiration," right? So this is our slogan lately, which is less cringeworthy than "you hear it," because there's you hear it.
Urs, big thanks for this interview. We will do some demos, other videos about their new products, because you have new products. You have to,
Old products, new, and new products, also hardware, yeah. Both.
so please check out these videos when they are out. Big thanks, Urs, for this nice interview,
Nice
little
to
cozy
be here.
interview.
Thank you, Tom.
Big thanks, and hope to see you again very soon in our next Cinanatomy Superbooth videos. Bye.